Maybe you can better show something more, but trying to paddle through the attacker and try and turn their nose away.
So think of when you're in a shooting position. Is it easier to shoot when you're facing the goals or when you're facing the other end line?
When you're being turned.
Yeah. So.
And with the defender.
Yeah, exactly. So, or on the other side, is it easier to shoot when you're facing the goals with a paddle in your way or you're facing the other goals? Yeah. So, like that for me is the easiest way to look at it. You're trying to put that attacker in the hardest possible position to shoot. A paddle in the way, it's hard. Facing not the goals, a lot harder. You cut down the options.
Or maybe you've got a goalkeeper to stop the goals.
Yeah, exactly. So all that your paddle should be doing, and we do see it creep in a lot with beginners, because you think you've got this gigantic paddle blade at the end of your shaft and you can block everything. But that is there, that last second reaction block. It's there primarily to move your boat and to move someone else's boat. Like Donald said, you've got a goalie. That's their job. They're just sitting there watching, waiting for that ball to go live.
So if you can think back to like a game that you've played in a situation that's happened and you're not sure what the right thing to do in a situation was, yeah, just ask us. Yeah, we'll help you out. If everyone's ready, we'll go on to attack. Cool. Okay, so we'll just talk about having like either one attacker or two attackers inside and the rest of them out the back. That's probably the again, it's your staple offense. Just having one attacker in, four out the back, or two attackers in and three out the back. So we'll just talk about the one attacker in to start with. So if there's only one attacker in, then your position is to jostle with the centre player. So you're trying to make position on this centre player to get yourself into a position to shoot. So ideally that is getting inside on this side of the defender, so you're between them and the goalie. There's a couple ways of getting there, just a couple of tricks. So you can like just out-skill them by just paddling in, jostling. And you're watching their tail. So remember how I was saying as a defender, you know, it's that tail position is really key. So as the attacker, you're watching their tail. As soon as you can see that there's that slight gap between them and the goalie, you can really start pushing in there, and now you've pushed them out the way and you're sitting in the ideal position there. That is, so you're always watching their tail and trying
It's
to
the ideal
take
position
advantage.
because you've got all those defenders on one side. You're in a great shot to receive a pass from your teammate and shoot. And then if your teammates want to do like a two attackers on that one defender on that side close to Siobhan, they can do that because you've got all the defence. You know, you're one attacker and you've got three defenders on one side, and your teammates can either pass you the ball or use a simple 2-on-1 against that single defender all by his lonesome to work a really high percentage shot and a high percentage shot is an attacker with the ball against the goalkeeper. That's what we call a high percentage shot. That's what we're always trying to do as an attacking team. Move the defenders around to create the opportunity for an attacker against a goalie. That's the absolute ideal.
Cool. So that one was just this play is just out-skilling this person and getting in there. The other more sneaky way of doing it is to come in. You might get bumped. You're like, oh well, I'm going out. Actually, haha, I'm not. And then you change direction and you sneak in there. So you kind of like fooling them. So like, I can do that against someone who's like 1.5 times my weight. You know, I probably won't be able to like out-muscle them just by working really hard here. But if I am sneaky and then am like good with my body and can quickly change direction and sneak in there, as soon as you've got between them, it's really hard for the defenders to get you out of there. So that's just another way of getting in there. But basically that's the one in. So if you have two in, generally this person is going to be your shooter. So this is the person that you're looking to set up for a shot. Your second inside player is generally looking to help set this person up for a shot or create a hole for one of the outside people to drive into. And that's not to say that you're not a shot option as well, but you're primarily the second shot option. So the best best thing is to work the same direction. So we'll just talk about that. So it's just getting inside on this outside player and you're both working the same direction so that you've got these players pinned on this side and there's a 3 on 2 over here.
Why would you want to work the same direction, guys?
Support each other.
And you're pinning defenders across on one side, yeah?
Yep.
Guys at the back, get that. Cool.
So as the second inside player, you're trying to pin this person low and wide. Low and wide.
Low
As,
and wide.
yeah, as this person, you're generally trying to screen them wide as well, but maybe high, so that you then have lots of space to drop into.
So
Yep.
low and wide.
So this one's low and wide, and like it's okay to do low and wide as well, but I think high and wide is quite good as well, so then you've got lots more space to receive the ball in. One kind of key thing that lots of people make the mistake of doing is like, so say there's a big space here, they drive in and they sit in that space. And you see people do that all the time, and they're not paddling, and they're just sitting there going, hey guys, I'm open, pass me the ball, I want to shoot. But it's actually, there's a reason why the ball's not coming to you, and it's probably because this person's like lining you up, and your teammates are like, I'm not going to give you the ball. So never just see a space and go in there and sit in that space. You think about like, you want to be working to create more space. Why not create more space if you can? And then when you see that the ball is ready to come to you, you then drop into the space as the ball is coming and have that shot. Yeah, so never ever ever see a space and just go in there and sit and look around and wait for the ball. If you're somewhere, find a defender and just keep moving them either high and wide or low and wide. When the ball is about to come to you, that is when you drop into the space and have your shot.
If you're in the middle of that space, you're actually stopping your teammates with the offense. That space is there to, as Siobhan said, have the inside attacker drop into it or an outside attacker driving to it, one of the two. By you sitting in that space, you're shutting down that hole. As Siobhan said, it's much better to go and do a screen on that side player and make the hole even bigger. You can always drop back into it as the ball's coming, or your teammate can drive with some speed and have a shot with all that boat speed that they've got as well.
Yeah. So sometimes, like the zone's moving around and then you find yourself sitting in a space and you're like, oh cool, what do I do now? Find a defender and just keep moving them. Yeah, just keep working. These are the most tiring 2 jobs on the field, is these 2 insider players. Okay, so we've got our 2 insiders and they're doing a beautiful screen to one side. So these guys, what's the word I'm looking for? What are they about to do?
Pass it.
Pass it. There's a word for it.
Draw.
Yeah, draw, yeah. So either an overlap or a triple dish. Yep, that's what we're about to do. We're going to do a triple dish. So, triple dish, my group was working on it just before, I know another group was as well, but hopefully it's a concept that you're all familiar with. But basically the motto is draw and dump. So you want to draw a defender and get rid of the ball. Draw and dump. Draw a defender and then dump the ball onto the next person. And that dump is a very nice, accurate pass to their chest, not just the fling it over the shoulders. So drawing your player, like at what point have you drawn your player? And you've drawn your player when they are moving towards you. So they've just taken 1 or 2 strokes towards you before they get to you. Well before they get to you, before their paddle is a threat of blocking this ball, you need to get rid of it. So you've drawn them as soon as they're moving towards you. So you've drawn them, dump the ball. So the dump to the next person. You take a little paddle, you take a little dribble, they're moving towards you, you've drawn, and then you're going to dump to the next person. And actually we just did that the wrong way because... Oh no, that was right. Yeah, that was right. Cool.
Take it towards the screen.
Yeah.
You had it right.
Yeah. So the other thing with your drives is like, where is the final shot going to be? So in this situation, the overlap, you got your 3 attackers here and your 2 defenders. The overlap should probably be this last person here. So as your drives, you don't want to be like driving into that space, because that's the space that you're trying to open up. So angle your boats like this, so that this first drive is away from the space that you're trying to open up. So if you drive this way and draw them this way, and then you've dribbled and you draw them away from the space that you're trying to create, and then they have the shot. Yeah. And then I guess the one other variation.
I want to say one thing.
Yep.
One of the best skills assets you can have in polo is vision, and vision to be able to read a couple of moves.
What's going to happen
before that's actually happening. So like what Siobhan's talking about, it's the triple dish. It's 2 or 3 movements, and if you can be at the start and know where the ball's going to end, you can help your team set up that little sequence of movements and make that great shot against just a single volley. That's the best asset you can have, is to be able to read what's going to happen a couple plays ahead. It's really, really important that even now when you're young and learning the game, to be able to start reading and knowing what's happening a couple moves prior, it's very, very important. It's going to help you a lot as you move through the game.
And I normally teach people too that not only if your team's got the ball, but if you're defending, I always say, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I always say that, you know, that if probably am, if I was that person who had the ball, what would I do? And a lot of the times you're probably going to get it right, so you can anticipate what a player's going to do with the ball.
Yeah. So these 2 players here, at this point in the game, with this kind of setup, they've really got one job. It's going to be to draw and dump. So you've drawn, you've dumped, you've drawn, you've dumped. Now this person has to make the decision. You've got 3 options. Number 1 is you're going to shoot. Option number 2 is that this defender hasn't been too dumb and they've got you. You're going to do an inside pass. Number 3rd option is that there's nothing on and you're going to reset. So that is your 3 options as this last driver. You're going to shoot, you're going to do an inside pass, or you're going to reset. And you should be aware of which of those options are open to you before you receive the ball, so you don't receive it and float in and you're like, oh crap, what the hell, like, what am I doing now? And then, you know, you've got a defender on you and the, you know.
That's when your team has
Yeah.
problems.
So know where this inside player is, and if that's an option. If that is not an option, you're down to 2. You're either going to shoot or you're going to reset. Yeah. So that's your 3 options: shoot, inside pass, or reset. So one other little situation. So we've got this set up now instead of what we had before. So does anyone know what this kind of offense is called? What these 2 people have just created? Yeah, we call it a wedge. So they've created a wedge shape. And so what's the best way of scoring with a wedge? Yeah. So it's going to be an outside drive. Someone's going to drive into this wedge and shoot. Yeah. So when it was like this, we were doing a triple this way, and this was our shot option from this side of the field. This one tiny change of boat position, and now we have to change our triple dish to the other way. Yep, so now the ball is going to start on this side of the field, and it's going to come this way, and this is going to be our final shot. So that's something that these 3 outside players have to be switched on about, is like, what have our inside players done? Have they created a wedge and we're going to have a drive and shot on this side? Or have they created a double drive and screen and we're going to have a triple this way and shoot? So that's something really important for these 3 guys to communicate and to switch on and to identify, really. And you want to talk about it. So like if you identify that there's a wedge on this side and you're number 3, you're like, well, you're number 4, pass the ball to number 2, we're going to do a triple to me. Like that's the kind of thing that you want to be saying, like, ball to the other side, triple over here kind of thing. So you're telling your teammates, let's set up and get a triple happening, So it's just that tiny little change has changed the way that you're going to run that triple. Anything